Good morning, traders. Welcome back. It's another week here at Trade the Pool. Excited to get things started. Take a look at what's going on in the market and see if I can have a bounce back week. A little bit of a tough week last week. Up and down. Definitely the swing account also taking some major beating. Just got to bounce back. Like always, guys, it's going to be up and down action. Sometimes you're going to get hit a little bit. Just got to fight on, guys. So ready to get after the day, ready to get after the stream. Let's get right to it. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market today. We'll go to the playbook. We'll take a look at the sunrise report to see what stocks are moving this morning and what stocks maybe you guys can catch on our scanners. Yes, we're going to have some scanners able here, at least just for you guys to start developing into these and catching some quick moves, right? We can always take a look at different stocks. If you guys have any stock you guys want to check out, definitely throw it up in the chat. We'll keep things going. It's, of course, Trade the Pool. Let's get it started. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. We can take a look at the SPY here and see how it's trading. Essentially, you can see here how we're trading up and we're getting a nice little move here. Hold on, let me adjust that right back. And I think, delete it. I don't think I deleted it, did I? Yeah, I would. All right, so need to pop out another chart there. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to use more of my Trader Evolution here. Let me just get that back up here. All right, we'll take a look a little bit deeper into the SPY here. Let me adjust. Sorry, guys. I like using the bar candles on the intraday chart, and then I can use daily charts, right here on this chart here. All right, so let's just go a little bit deeper into here, see what we can find. We'll go into a little bit more of the SPY chart here. Let me make this as big as I can do it. Let's just do it like this. All right, guys, you guys can see we're bouncing back, right? We're starting to come back on this. Let me even take off some of these overlays here. VWAP, don't need you right now. 9 EMA, we're good with that. All right, guys, we'll see what happens now. We are bouncing back to the 677 spot here. Sorry you don't see the daily candle. I got to get these candles and something fixed there. So we'll keep it going there, but you guys can see we're up there to 677s, trying to recover back there towards the 680s. You can see on the hourly candles how we just kind of gapped up, but I think this gap up is a little bit too much too fast, and this is exactly how they do it to you guys, where it just was really tough last week. If you were shorting and you waited until the market opened, what happened? It got pumped right back into you, right? And so those are the things that you got to be a little bit careful of. Now we can get back into that 680 spot, and we could still go down. It's going to be choppy all around here, guys. And if you were able to buy the dip there on Friday, well, you're definitely being rewarded by holding throughout the weekend. We'll see if these stocks are able to hold on here. We'll take a look into the sunrise report. We'll take a look at the stocks that I'm looking for potential trades. Let's start with the first one here. Let's go to the trades here. Let's go to Pfizer here, one that's definitely going to be on the watch to see what happens if it can get right back up there towards the 25 spot here. I had this one on a swing trade, was cut out overnight. Some situation happened there where I got cut out overnight, but still looking at it for the trade. Above 25s is really kind of more of that trigger. We'll see if we're able to get there today and start to climb. Of course, this one does have news that we'll talk about in the sunrise report, so stick right here. A lot more for you guys coming up. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to the next one here. Let's go to FCX. I actually made a really great trade the other day when this one popped over the 42, going to the 43.50. We're starting to come back there through the 41, and that's the look for me right now, is can we recover that 41 and then just start to spark? So I'll be okay with the cutbacks to 40.30s right out the gates. What I'm really looking for is a 41 takeout. If it takes out 41, we can start to look for upside in FCX. Of course, I'm talking copper. Copper, of course, and basic materials took a big hit for like 2 or 3 weeks, but they had a huge bounce back on Friday and could keep bouncing back. Let's go to the next one here. Let's go to Qualcomm. Of course, you guys know I've been talking about this name also, looking for Qualcomm to get a nice little bounce back. We'll see if this can start to bounce back. Of course, this one had really good news just a couple of while ago, right? It was about like a week ago, right? You're all the way back down. You actually undercut that area, so it gave it a lot of dip buyers an ability to get in at 170. I think there's some big buyers that got in there through the 170, and you can see it here because when it went back up through the 70s, not the first time it went through 170, the second time it went through 170, what do you see? High volume there, a big increase in relative volume, showing me more and more. There's somebody positioned in at 170. Now, what do we need to do? We need to see them get a little bit of a test, maybe a back towards 172 and then a recovery of 174. But I really like Qualcomm here. We'll see if it can get going. Even have an alert, but I'm going to move it down closer towards this 175 spot. That's really where things really start to recover and you start to drive back on the daily. So for right now, in the meantime, I think we just continue to watch to see it develop here. And you want to start seeing some bigger volume starting to come back in. And a next move back to 180, 200. Yes, they're still capable of getting that bounce. We'll see what happens in Mega Tech. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to the Sunrise Report. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the market overall. Back and forth action, though. But hey, like it always is, guys. We'll see what happens today. Let's talk a little bit more about what's going on in today's Sunrise Report. Okay, when we talk about the markets, of course, I'm sure you guys caught over the weekend comments from Trump on both sides of things, even a potential stimulus. We'll have to talk a little bit more about that and how that could affect the markets. Of course, stock futures climbed early Monday as Washington took a major step towards ending the historic U.S. government shutdown. It's kind of funny. I was talking about the shutdown yesterday with my brother-in-law because he's actually been furloughed during this time. And it's interesting, right? We were just talking about it. I was like, man, I think it's going to end. I have this feeling. And what do I know it? A couple hours later, I see the text there. AI darlings, of course, like NVIDIA and AVGO, led the pre-market charge as risk appetite returned to a point, right? I think I always love when the media really quickly starts saying that, oh no, now risk on is back here, guys. Uh, the potential shutdown, of course, resolution sparked a relief rally after weeks of political gridlock and fading sentiment. Shutdown deal, of course, taking place. The Senate cleared a key procedural hurdle with 8 Democrats joining the Republicans to move the bill forward. A sign of genuine bipartisan momentum. If it's passed, of course, it would reopen the government through January. So all we would do is just put a 2 month like, hey, we'll be back in 2 months fighting about this. But hey, reverse some of the federal layoffs, of course, add future job protections for government workers, and exclude ACA credit extensions to be voted in December. Consumer sentiment has cratered to its lowest level in over 3 years. I don't understand this consumer sentiment data that comes from University of Michigan. But hey, that's what's happened, right? I guess people are that bearish that fast. The shutdown has also frozen key economic data, including CPI and PPI, leaving investors flying blind. I'm wondering if we do get the government coming back, right? If the shutdown's over, do we get CPI this Friday? I don't know. Or Thursday. Thursday would be the day. But would we get it? I'm not sure. And that would definitely be something to look for. Airlines taking flight as you're starting to see some of these airlines bounce back because of course, the shutdowns for the flight controls and things like that. And a lot of workers were missing and stuff. So I think this is a really good look for these to run, DAL, UAL. Why? Because they had earnings and earnings really weren't that bad. I think it was more the government shutdown that was holding these back. They have that nice kind of bottoming pattern off the 93s. Could get back above 100 today. So, hey, I will just leave this one on the top of that daily around the 140 of Friday's action. Get through that, and I definitely want to be taking a look at some airline action. All right, we'll see what happens there. On the rare earth rally, though, there is some rallying back as MP materials jumped about 3%, starting to push back really quickly. Analysts see MP as a key beneficiary of Trump's push to reshore U.S. critical mineral supply chains. The Pentagon, of course, recent stake in the company has fueled a 276% year-to-date surge in the shares. We'll see what happens there in the minerals. Big pharma. I talked about it with Pfizer. Well, there it is. Now they got Metsera. They finally were able to close the deal. Pfizer is making a $10 billion splash acquiring the obesity drug developer Metsera after beating out rivals and NVO. So in this bidding war, of course, it was a little bit of a back and forth, and some were even talking about a hostile takeover. Finally, Metsera gave in their deal values at $86.25 a share, including a CVR worth $20.65. Metsera specializes, of course, in different analog drugs and next-gen weight loss treatments. Analysts see it as a successor to the GLP-1s, so kind of like the next step in line for obesity treatment. The acquisition, of course, cements Pfizer's push to re-enter the obesity treatment race after setbacks in their early GLP-1 program. Metsera shares, however, fell 15% on this news, typical of the buyout target priced near the final offer. We'll see what happens there. There are some more news out there as Palantir popped about 3% after last week's 11% stumble. Rumble rocketed 17% after locking in a $100 million ad deal from Tether, announcing a $767 million acquisition of German AI firm Northern Data. VSAT soared 12%, also narrowing its quarterly loss. We'll see what happens there in VSAT as this just continues higher. Doesn't seem like it wants to stop. Communications and satellites, all that conversation has really driven the price of these higher. We'll look to see how that continues to run. All right, that's going to do it for me on the kind of the outlook this morning. We'll see what happens on the SPY. SPY is climbing back, but something tells me that at least maybe the good part of the rally already came with the overnight action. But we'll see what happens towards the open here. Let's kick things off. Let's take a look at the market. We'll take a look to see what other things we can come up with. Let's kick off the show. It's Trade the Pool.
Wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
All right, traders, what's going on? Let's go ahead. Let's bring on the man from Canada, Michael Noss. What's going on, man?
What's going on? As a guy buying dips in a bull market, I could not be any happier. And
there you go.
I think everyone should take a second and slap themselves on the hand if they didn't buy the dip in the screaming bull market. Like, when are you going to buy the dip in a bear market?
I don't know. It was looking pretty rough there, and I can't blame you. But you put the risk on. You got the reward.
It always looks. That's the reason it's dipping. On every dip, it will look rough. There'll be bad earnings or war or inflation or whatever. Right? The fundamentals always lag price. Like, that's one thing we know for sure, 100% of the time. Fundamentals look the worst at the bottom, and they look the best at the top every single time. So
and right? I think we got what we were looking for. I mean, I don't know if anyone was looking for a little bit more, but we got that 50 EMA touch. We were looking for pullbacks to medium-term moving average, not long-term. We didn't say the 200 was going to get taken out, but that's what I was looking for, 50 EMAs that come into play. That's exactly what happened. The SPY literally touched the 50 EMA, and it came right back. And so what does it do? It washes out the short-term focus bulls. Short-term, right?
Well, and imagine you're summing up your year, which we're getting close to the end of, and you're sitting there, you're looking at one of the greatest bull markets in history, and you're saying, every time it dipped, I sold. And then every time it moved higher, I bought. Like, I think there's going to be a potential insane catch-up trade into the end of the year, because if you're managing money and you're looking at, if I had just held the market, I would have made X. Instead, every time I got spooked out on every single dip over and over again. And how do I keep my job next year? You're going to have to do something. You've got like 2 months to pull off some sort of an amazing gain, because, again, the next time there's a dip, it'll be on some sort of bad news. It'll be a bad tweet. It'll be, we're scared about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a plan to buy the dip, and again, at some point it won't work, but it's worked like 10 times this year. So do
Yeah.
you take the 10 wins? Would you rather make $100 and give $20 back? Or would you rather just sit there and cash the whole time and go, well, like, if you're not buying dips in a bull market, I don't know. What are you buying? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you getting a reward over weekend though. I think some people were really and I'm one of those people. I hate buying on the weekend. It works, but
Hmm.
boy, oh boy, do you feel it on Sunday? You're just like, okay, waiting for the market to open here. As long as things can keep going,
There's
we're
actually a
looking good,
tool.
right?
Someone sent me a little website that's interesting called Weekend Wall Street that you,
Yeah.
you can look up. And this
Yeah.
is, I guess, like mega degenerates on some sort of like almost betting market, some unlicensed whatever. But it actually does a pretty good job of telling you that what the open will be going into the day. So you can do a pretty good job of, I usually check that a couple times throughout the weekend, but yeah, it is a raging bull market out there. And I've got this cool chart you can go to. So I did this tweet, which made everyone mad. I just said, buy the government shutdown because
Hmm.
overwhelmingly it's a good thing to buy the government shutdown.
Yeah.
Well, I did the same data. What happens when they reopen the government one month later? And average
Uh,
return is like 2.5 to 3% in a month after they open the government. And in going back to 1990, again, not a lot of data here, but 100% win rate for buying after the government reopens as well. And this is post reopening, so we technically haven't even gotten there yet. So I don't know if the market's front running this right now, right? This isn't rocket science to find this data,
yeah.
so you can go and take a look at it. But yeah, so it seems like the shutdown bullish, the reopen also bullish, everything very bullish at this point. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, have your plan to buy the dip. There'll be another one. There'll be a crazy tweet. There'll be like a cooking oil battle or whatever the last one was, and just have your plan and then have your out. And again, it would suck if right now is the first time that you're doing it, and that might be the time it doesn't work. You just got to prepare for that, right?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean,
Oh,
I think,
1 second.
no, you're good. No worries. Let me go ahead and give Michael a second here. And this is the thing about, kind of getting after it like this. I think sometimes you're gonna get rewarded. Michael's getting a reward for buying the dip there. Long term, I think it was definitely times to kind of cash on a lot of the momentum trades. So I understand if you guys cashed out of names like, like even APLD or like, let's say like a QBTS, right? It was time I felt to cash these, right? So I have no problem with cashing kind of non-quality moves. Now, there are some quality names that you could have stuck to, right? I mean, Tesla dipped and it's holding on and rebounding this morning, right? AMD is coming back. There's some names like that I think we can kind of watch. Today, I will see what happens with those types of names, but I think you gotta watch to see if some of this can actually come back to the market here. So I'm gonna be watching to see like Qualcomm, some big tech names, and will momentum names come back, right? Will Palantir just go right back to the highs, or will Hims kind of get a nice little rip today? Those are the ones that I'm gonna be watching today because if those still sell off, if the momentum names can't bounce back, that's when you know that I think the market is turned a little bit, and you just got to look at higher quality. I think that that's what I would be looking at here, not necessarily dip buying. Let's say names that have no fundamentals. I still don't think it's that time just yet to just dip buy right into those again.
I'm interested in healthcare, right? We saw the little
Healthcare.
tantrum that
Hmm.
took place today. It's the only sector that is down, right? If
Yeah.
you held pretty much anything else into the weekend, you were making pretty good money on it this morning. So I'm just going to be interested to see if that ends up holding and going higher, because you would expect with the tweets this weekend, which if you haven't seen, just very very mad about healthcare companies, I guess. And he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He just seemed real cranky. And the fact that they're not reacting as much as I would have thought, based
Yeah.
off of kind of saying, I'm going to destroy your whole business model, was kind of the tweets.
Yeah.
And, UNH is above Friday's low. A lot of these healthcare companies are still, I didn't even look at what that ELV, I think, is slightly below Friday's low, but like UNH, a lot of these companies that
He's
you think
coming
would get
after
hurt
them,
real bad.
man. He's coming after them, and I don't think that's such a good thing, though. I
Question
definitely
is,
think.
do we care, or does the market care, right? So if
Yeah.
if the market was really concerned, you think we'd be on UNH. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
We'd be below Friday's low. Like, we'd be at least
Uh,
selling off a bit. Well, we're down like what, 2-3% on UNH, which is just a normal kind of slightly active day. So I just wonder, because there's going to be a moment, and the reason
yeah.
I believe this is because it happened last time. Because again, remember, we've done all this before. We've had a Trump admin and all this before, and him screaming on Twitter. There's a moment where the markets just stopped caring. There's a moment where the market was just, he would tweet something, and you could no longer go to that thing and place a trade and make money off it. There was just this moment of, I no longer care what Trump says. I'm just going to continue to, the market's going to continue to do what is. And then there was a moment where you could fade whatever he said, right? So if he's like, I hate these companies, you could buy them and they would rip. So I wonder if we're kind of getting to that moment where people are like no longer interested in what's going on.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and this is just me looking at perplexity, I don't know, he doesn't have the ability to do anything that he said. He can't do that. So it's him kind of signaling to his people to do it. And as we saw with the shutdown, neither side has a whole lot of power right now, or they would just pass whatever bill they wanted to and move on. So I think it might be a non-event. So I have these on watch for that kind of, that VWAP fade strategy, right? If we start to see like an undercut or a rally in UNH, there's that UNHG, I think it is, which is a double leveraged UNH, which is only a $17 stock. So decent liquidity there. So if things start to rebound, I think I'm going to take potentially UNG for one to trade as well. So yeah, some of these ones, because if the market's just going to rip, then these names may have a little bit of a catch up trade, which would mean going green, which would mean 3 or 4% moves on UNH, which UNHG you're talking like 6-7% gains would be a nice one.
We will see what happens with that action in healthcare. And overall, I mean, looks like, unfortunately, you're not getting the stimulus check, my friend. But
I know you're
the
not sending it across the border.
The Americans are going to be starting to look for their stimmy check. The best part is, it was all the Republicans that were yelling about how the stimulus checks were the worst things in the world. Now you're going to see the Republicans being like, where's my stimulus check?
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, that's a great idea.
No,
Well, now that
now
it's
it's a good idea.
right?
Now it's a good idea. It's coming from tariffs, man.
Yes,
And
it's a
tariffs are not
dividend.
inflationary, right? They could not be inflationary, right?
So it's hilarious. So you
Dude.
do something that's inflationary, and then you follow that up with something else that's inflationary, and then you
And
scream at JPOW to lower interest rates.
that is the funniest thing, dude. I think like people just don't have some logic in them either. They're like, oh no, this is a good thing. We're getting $2,000.
Yeah.
No. I would say more of a true Republican look. Hint, hint, pun intended. The real Republican look would be like, no, we don't need your stimulus check, dude.
Yeah, get
Go
away
put
from the government.
go to the deficit and go use that money, right? Go knock down the deficit. Don't be looking to give me money. Go fix the government.
Well, and looking at, so then but the real question is, again, we saw what happened last time with the stimulus checks, right? It
Yeah.
was the market just ripped. So the question is, where
Will
this
we get the
time?
rip,
So
right? And
like
the thing is,
Apple, everyone getting a brand new shiny iPhone, is that like $2,000? That's like a real nice iPhone. Like, I just wonder where.
when's the stimulus check coming? Is it for Christmas? Is it for next year?
Right. And where, because if you were to bet where a lot of that went, which is like NFTs and craziness that time, there was some amazing moves, and this
Yeah.
is one of the beauty, I think, of trading the US markets and not being in the US. I don't care what you guys do with your economy. For me, it's just I go straight to, okay, how can I make money off this?
Yeah.
Where's the profit center? So, could be one of the reasons that crypto is just ripping, right? It looked like Bitcoin was under, it was like 98,000 at one
Oh
point, back
yeah.
to 106 and a half, I'm seeing here. So Bitcoin's ripping back through. We have Ethereum popping back through. Even some of the meme coins are going again. Uh, Really just one of those
I
across
think
the board.
I think that's one of the best indicators, and I keep saying it, guys. The crypto is leading the markets now. It's not the other way around. Crypto leads the markets now. I think
Mhm.
it's completely hilarious, but I mean, if you really look at it, what led us down? It was first crypto selling off. Then what led us back? Well, look at the weekend. It was crypto coming back, man. And then the added comments just give it more of that support. And so I think you watch crypto. Crypto's going to be a great watch here. If it just completely just booms, guess what? I would not bet on the market coming down if crypto goes booming today.
Well, it's a
So
great just risk on indicator, right?
yeah,
Again, I've said
yeah.
it, I've joked about the Fart coin, but if you're looking to raise liquidity, which what we saw during, what was it? He was tweeting about cooking oil in China or whatever, and the market went down 3% in a day.
Hmm.
That's when crypto just got destroyed, because if I'm looking to raise liquidity, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to
Yeah.
go and I'm going to raise liquidity in what is the most speculative and type of things that have no kind of intrinsic value. You were talking about again with kind of junky securities. If I'm looking at my portfolio and the market's looking scary to me, like my Coca-Cola stock isn't going to be the first one to go, because I know they're just going to be there forever and pay me a dividend. Blah blah. I'm going to sell my quantum computer or my weight loss drug or my all these different things. But all of this crypto talk actually. So BMNR, Tom Lee went to work this weekend and bought a whole bunch of Ethereum, and looks like he got a pretty good price on it. So I'm looking at BMNR as a potential way to play that Ethereum play. It's just been a slow, steady downtrend for about roughly a 50% drawback. So I just wonder if we're going to get some type of a move here. So if we take a look in Ethereum or in BMNR, right, just slow burn lower. And then we're just looking to see, hey, is this going to be a couple day bounce? Are we going to get a couple days out of what was this kind of engulfing candle? If you take a look at BMNR, big gap up and then consolidating through that high here. So right, pre-market high, pre-market low. Easy ways to kind of take a look at that, but nice solid looking downtrend here on this guy. So, yeah, just a little bit of a bounce. If we can get up to a trend line, something like that, I think that'd be fantastic. But I'm looking to buy, because the data says if we're going to reopen, the market's going to move. So I want to be part of that.
Yeah, the problem I think also today is going to be when you go to get to the open, you're going to already be just way too gapped up in majority of these names. So I'm expecting like at least like an hour or two of pullback right out the gates. So I don't expect too much bullishness right out the gates. And this is the problem of the overnight like rally, because now at this point you're just you're just late in the game.
Well, and that's why you have to buy the dip. That's the problem, is that you always got to
That's the
look, and it's
problem.
always the grossest time to buy, the time that you don't feel like buying at all. That's the time you have to kind of make it in the whole pullback kind of setup. Is nobody wants to buy when the thing is pulling back. Everyone wants to buy when the thing is moving
Yep.
higher.
Liquidity,
Eh,
man. Undercutting support is usually not an area to run, it's an area to get in. A
mhm.
lot of the times, it's complete opposite of what we're trained to do. Um, we're trained to buy that support, but that support got broken and destroyed on Friday, but came back. That's how they
Yep.
do it. They wash it and they bring it back to a major key level. And at that point, you're not in. You're not in.
And that's it. And that's why I wonder if, like, yeah, certainly we could come in and try to test and refill this gap. I just wonder if they're not going to make it that easy on us, where they're going to just maybe a little bit and then just rip it back through, because there's probably a lot of people out there in the same situation saying, "Oh shit, I really wish I bought this dip on Friday and I
Yeah.
didn't." So that just creates demand.
Yeah, I think it fills the gap some there, and I think we could just look for 50% retracement of that if you're looking to jump in, because there's also going to be people that are buying this pre-market, right? They're buying pre-market, and look at the pre-market range. Look how tight it is. I think
Hmm.
that's just a trap. Because buying that tight range right here, you have to stay so tight towards the open. You get any type of wash in your stock, you're going to probably cut out. Because if you're buying it right now, you're hoping for an opening rip, right? Just a gap and go. We'll see what we get. It could still be a gap and go move, right? There's nothing that's saying that it has to pull back. I'll just be looking for the pullback action because it just makes no sense for me to go buying up here, right? At least for me. We'll see if we get some pullback action and what stocks have stayed strong, right? That's one thing that I'm looking at, right? So I still will bring this name up because I think everyone's going to look back and be like, man, I still wanted a piece, should have got the piece. SQM never really went down with all this action. ALB never really went down with all this action. And that's what I want to see. I want to see names that are staying on their daily levels, staying on their weekly levels. So look at those weekly charts, especially. I think it's very important. If you look at those weekly charts and your stock looked like it just completely broke the pattern, well, then maybe that's not the stock that I want to stick with. Looking for patterns that are holding weekly patterns regardless of last week's pullback. One name, Tesla, still there in that weekly pattern. Just sideways here, sideways consolidation. Even though it pulled back, weekly still has it right there on the EMA, bouncing off that 415 and could be right back to 465 in a hurry.
Yeah, it's everything's just been kind of range bound for a lot of these names like Tesla. Even if you zoom out enough on the SPY and the Qs, right? We were down, I think, like 2.5, 3% at one point there. I agree. You just want to avoid the things that just got absolutely taken to the woodshed.
Yep.
Even some of these quantum names, right? Yes, the percentage down move was big, but really we just kind of came right back into where we broke out of and then put in a nice hammer there. So I think those are interesting to watch here, where you had a breakout, you had a pullback to where you broke out. And again, this is to me if you took all my quant stuff away from me, so this is all you can do all day, Michael. This is be all I would do is find something that's broken out, pull back to the breakout zone, and then just watch it to see if it's gaining some support there. And if so, you know right where you're wrong. Right? You can put a stop like at 29 here on Rigetti. And if you're right, it goes, so you're buying it 33 and you're putting a stop at 29, so you're risking $4. If you're right and it goes back to highs here, you're making like $20. And so you don't need a good probability in order to do that. But yeah, as soon as you kind of retest these areas, for me, that's one that I'm watching. IONQ, all these ones kind of look the same, right? Where this one's a little bit stronger, but didn't quite come back, but came close to just this breakout zone right here, and then holding in there. So a lot of names that are looking really strong. And again, for just the day trades, I'm really watching kind of the healthcare side of things, the UNHs, right, to see if there's some sort of dig in there in UNH where potentially we have some sort of pop that in there. We have something that just kind of says, okay, this is what we're looking for, to see if there's a 15-minute, because you can see right off the open. So I might be late on this one. Everyone else might have this idea as well, where over the last 30 minutes since we've been talking, UNH has just been on fire here. So unfortunately, that might have missed it. So
Hey, it happens. It happens. That's the thing. You're gonna miss some.
yeah, so you have the idea, and then you plan, and I find those are kind of the most frustrating, right? I had the idea to buy UNH. I was waiting for the market to open. Looks
Yeah.
like it's ripping without me, and you just go, that sucks, right?
Yeah, that just sucks because you can't do much about it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
unless you're buying in pre-market, and this happens to me all the time, especially when I'm looking at ideas because the daily chart looks so good, but then by the time you get to the intraday, does that look good too, right? And that's why It makes sense sometimes just to buy the close and things like that.
James, yeah, you're seeing. This is the Trade the Pool desktop here. You're seeing it. So that's what we've been
Yeah.
showing
Yeah, you'll
all
see,
morning.
and then you can do different versions, right? You can pop out things, you can do different setups. You'll see different setups. I
Oh
actually
yeah,
have some scanners on mine right now. I kind of set it up a little bit to do some scanners. You can do different desktops at the bottom,
yeah. That's
like
one thing I like about it. Is
workspaces.
these different. That's what I'm going to start building out. Is a lot of these different workspaces to look a little different. But
Yeah,
yeah, I've just got mine. These are right. These are the major indexes I watch. I've got some SPY sectors. I got to fill this rest out. And
yeah.
for the bot, you'll see positions kind of pop right in here, and when the time comes and when the market opens. But yeah, take some time. I always say with a new platform, and customize it to your liking. Right,
Hmm.
take an evening, grab a beer or whatever you have on your evenings, and just get it all kind of set up the way you like before you spend too much time swinging for it. Thankfully, it's fairly straightforward. Right,
Totally.
all the different windows are just up here, and then if you want to drag them around, you just kind of move them, highlight them over, whatever. Right. And so if you want to do like a multi, for me, you guys have seen what I've been using for, well, almost a year now, and it's really simple. Just give me a chart. That's all I want. Get a clean chart, no indicators, get all that kind of stuff away from me, and I just let me look at the price action, because for me, that's what's going to make me build more systems, and then we'll go from there.
All right, guys. I have the kind of gainers and losers list, things like that you guys can be using to kind of find some plays. So maybe we do it to find some of the smaller plays today. Let's take a look really quickly before the market open here at some smaller plays. So here's the gainers and losers list, high and low list that you guys have available also, of course. GLTO. Don't know why this one's up, but as you can see, big move there, kind of holding in there. Daily chart reversal, trying to hold in, break above the 22s right now. We'll see if it keeps going there. Then we got move up 200%. This got all the way up to 18. Movano, don't know what it does, but I'll tell you one thing, it's definitely higher. COGT, another biotech that's up massively. This morning it was all the way up as high as 41. Now trying to hold pace around the 33 spot. I think it was Vero that looked good the other one. There's a couple of these. I think you're starting to get a little bit more action in these smaller names, so definitely something to kind of keep on watch. SOC and some other ones. What about Oscar Health? Getting absolutely destroyed, man. I had
Oh, that might be one to
no.
take a look at.
What do you mean to look at? This thing should go in the toilet and completely get off of the market.
Well,
The-
if they're gonna rip, if like
oh
what they're doing
man,
with UNH, if it's
I
gonna
don't know.
follow
I don't know what
UNH,
I was
maybe a good one.
doing trying to trade this thing the other day.
I'd imagine that one.
So definitely, it's on the ban list. It's only a short now for me. We'll see what happens. It's right off the bottom there, 1624, 1620s. Oscar Health down 8%. Oh man, this stock should just go. She's dead. She's dead, man. I don't think she's coming back. We'll see what happens there, but definitely Oscar Health in the toilet today. We'll see what happens on the VIX. Of course, big cut downs on the VIX. Can the VIX bounce back? This is when you get washed out if you bought VIX contracts. So all those people that bought VIX contracts, they're going to definitely be scraping their heads a little bit. Rich Tech, robotics bouncing back. Robotics names starting to get a little bit of a bounce back. Those are names you guys can keep watch. Even BMNR with a big bounce back, right? I don't know how you buy this company here, but hey, wish you guys the best of luck on that name. We'll see if it can get going here at some point. These are the kind of stocks that I think could be the disaster in crypto, but we'll see what happens when it gets there. All right, but yeah, let's get ready for the open, guys. It's about 9:29. We got about a minute left here, and we'll see what happens. Definitely, minerals trade was good to me on Friday. I traded LAC and other names. We'll see if we're able to trade names like that this time around.
Well, and that's the thing too, James. You're saying I added everything from the tutorials. Don't add everything. You don't need everything, right? The reason I keep just one chart up on my screen is because it's all I need. It should be
Yeah.
the thought should be, what can I remove from my screen when it comes to
Yeah.
charts and scans and indicators? What don't I need? Let's,
Mm-hmm.
instead of trying to add as much as you can, I would look at it completely opposite. What do I need for my setup? And if you don't have a setup, well, that's the problem. Don't worry about the software. Get the setup first, and then worry
Oh
about
yeah.
the software that helps with your setup, right? Software will not make you a good trader. It
What?
just won't. It's the setup that you've focused on and you've tested and that you're trading.
Yeah.
That's one thing. So
Yeah. That's what's gonna do it for you guys. All right. Let me do this the way that I really like it, guys. I'm gonna change it up the way that I like it. So that's just everything white. Everything white. Just turn everything white.
all right, so we're open here. So got the SPY here. I'm going to keep a close eye on just the first little opening tick to see what's going on here. Let's go into a
We're
little
at
shorter.
UNH moving
See a
higher.
2-minute chart. Yeah, sad. Thing
Yeah.
just ripped into the open here, and it's continuing. Oh well.
SQM pushing strong, 1.7% right out the gates.
Yeah, so SPY here's trying. So really, right, we're marking the pre-market highs, and that's sitting around, I don't know, 677.90, and then the pre-market lows are 676.90. So we just kind of watch that as well, right? Is see if we get that push off the open. Are people really excited? They're really pumped to get in, or it's the opposite, right? Are people a little bit scared, a little bit nervous? And then if they are, then maybe we start to look at the other side of that, right? Where we say, okay,
Aluminum up good there. I'm looking at basic materials essentially right out the gates.
right. So you can see right here already. So a trade just popped in. So I can just click on that. Looks like I shorted some CSIQ right off the bat here. So this is what I'm doing usually on the other screen. So I'm looking at, looks like the daily charts aren't. We might have to go to somewhere else for a daily chart for a second, but just overextended, right? If we zoom out, we look, huge move yesterday, a big continuation on that move today. We're going to see a lot of shorts come through here, and that's just the way the system works, right? This might be one of those
Yeah,
days that
those pullbacks.
isn't good for the system, just because the systems I'm running like bifurcated markets, right? They like some stocks up, some stocks down. Choppy markets are more my friend than trending, but SPY is definitely trying to break out of this range, so we need to see if it can hold that or not.
Seeing some names down straight out the gates there, and it's a lot of those momentum names, and that's kind of what I was expecting. Quick washouts of those because they're not going to give you the easy hand in those. The names that are holding up to the upside, I think those are the names that might be the names to watch today. We'll see how those kind of hold in here. Tesla started up, now starting to pull back. A lot of pullbacks in those names that were hot just on Friday, and that's how they're going to do it too. They're going to try to wash it really quickly. We'll see if it gets bought back at support.
Yeah, so the SPY hit that pre-market high and then just stalled for a minute, and looks like it's coming down just a bit here. So we just need to see if we can stick the landing, or was that just a little break and a fake out? So far, just kind of messing around. Take a look at my UNH idea. And yeah, it's breaking up here just a little bit. And then into CS. So these are the two that I've got, again, from the short side. CSIQ, you can see down a little bit on that, and down a little bit on AXTI, whatever this one is. James mentioning Tesla. So is Tesla rocketing here? It did, pulling back. So there's a lot of things, a lot of price discovery, it seems, this morning that we need to kind of figure out and to go through.
Yeah, not much action out the gates here.
No, it's
Kind of what I expected there a little
kind
bit.
of, everyone's like, all right, what's going on here? And everyone's just trying to figure it out. So we're
Arm
looking
holding, not too bad there.
on the different RSP is moving down, so the average large cap stock is moving down. So it seems like this rally is benefiting the big cap guys a little bit more, right? The Qs have been pushing up, So you see
Yep.
the Qs here, nice little
SoFi with
push
a
up,
nice push.
and then RSP actually down a little bit. And when you see that, when you see the Qs up and RSP down, it just tells us that this is one of those markets where big cap tech, because RSP is your equal weighted large cap, and
You
your
know
equal
it.
weighted large cap is selling a little bit from the open, not dramatically, but we actually have XLV positive now, so we have healthcare doing well. So, oh man, that's going to be the miss of the day, that UNH, but that's just the way it happens. Steph
Yeah.
looking at
Ooh,
IFRX here.
Pfizer getting some action there. Dude, there is somebody's building up the biggest position I've ever seen in Pfizer. It's a little bit wild for me because you just keep seeing on the tapes random, like big orders. I don't understand it at this point. At this point, it's just confusing me. It's so much flow. It's incredible. I don't know how the stock doesn't move at this point, but
Maybe it's the government.
it seems like it because the way that it comes in too, it's very, very methodical. It's such big orders. It's like, yep, another 60, 80,000 shares. Let's just slide these through right quick. And that's a lot of money, man. 100,000 shares at $24.
IREN.
It's incredible to me.
This one's been amazing. This iron, if you're getting involved there, it's been a great one. So just looking here, looking around the market, kind of seeing everything doing well, so that then we have to start breaking down, right? SPY
CVS.
broke out of that high, and it looks like it's trying to continue here. So first solid breakout, nice continuation there. We're seeing MDY, we're seeing SPY here. IWM is lagging, so definitely a big cap, and definitely big cap tech has been leading the charge here. So that's what we have to focus on more than anything.
Looking for a pullback in CVS to play essentially your play on UNH, but just playing it with a different vehicle.
Yeah, darn. What were you? So you have another healthcare stock though? It's doing.
CVS is not a bad one to look at here.
That's a convenience store?
Nah, man. Hey, remember, it owns an insurance company,
I,
Aetna.
oh,
Has
okay.
its Yeah, so it's like you think it's the store. The store is the smallest part of it now.
Well, I am just the least qualified person that you'll have on stream to talk about the U.S. healthcare stuff, right? Like I've got no. Everyone keeps talking about ACA. I have no idea what it is. I just right now, our healthcare is just.
Yep.
You're Canadian. Here you go. So I know you guys is just way more complicated. So I just try to.
Oh yeah.
That's why I just try to look at, and probably benefits me just to look at the charts. But SPY just ripping here, broke out and just went immediately.
Oil's falling
Wow.
off today, that's for sure. Just as an area to look at, it's falling off there. Come on, CVS, get back underneath 79. That's what I'm looking for on CVS. It needs to get back below that 79. Not seeing much out there right now.
Yeah, the market's going, but then again, if we look at here at the IWM is just in the middle of its range, and this next 5-minute candle is just putting in a little bit of a doji here. So very, very, very big cap tech oriented. So the people that were looking at things like Tesla, oh, never mind. Tesla falling out of bed. QCOM. No. So what's leading us here? NVIDIA. Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apple. Yeah, I was like, what's
Value.
actually moving us here?
What's leading the SPY right now? You got App Lovin', you got Constellation Energy. That's a big brick out there. AppLovin also, that's a 4% breakout on a $400 stock, a $600 stock. That's a big breakout. There, Micron doing well today. WDC, Palantir, Cardinal Health, Wynn Resorts, Love, the airlines showing up a little bit there. Booking, Netflix, Amgen. It's a lot. It's a mix, but it's not like the big tech names leading here. So that's one thing I'd note. I'm going to step up to the plate here in Pfizer. Let's see if it really wants to go, if it can get above the 2485s here. Pfizer, let's see if it wants to go here, guys. Let me pull this up here. I hate how this looks. There it goes. All right, let's see if it gets going here, guys. Starts to get above the 2481s. This is where I keep seeing those big buying going on in the tape. You see it 2475, 30,000, another 30,000 shares. I mean, 30,000 shares is big, man. SoFi hot too, guys. That washed me out on Thursday, but look at that comeback right now. That's hot. So big move there in SoFi. Of course, remember there's SoFi X if you want to go and be a real degenerate.
Of course. Oh, I wonder if so. I need to look up because remember they were playing that game with those quintuple leveraged ETFs.
Oh yeah.
In which they were trying to play that little sneaky game there to make a pass on those, but now the government's opening. Maybe I guess there's no actual vote that took place, so
Maybe.
maybe kind of sort of opening. I guess that's something
We'll
to
see what
keep
happens
an eye
there.
on.
Vero being a small name that's trying to get going here off the 250 spot. So I'm feeling these penny stocks a little bit today.
So my CSIQ not working, and then my AXTI working. For all in all, a flat morning so far, and only 2 trades. So kind of disappointing there. I was hoping for another few trades. UNH is definitely going to be the miss of the day because that thing just rocketed right off the open. So.
All right, UAL starting to get a little bit higher than that 100. That looks good there. I'm looking at this Vero here to see if it's going to hold 250 and then just rocket off of this 250. For a smaller name here, it's a medical device company that I'm looking at. It's holding pretty well off this 250 spot. Could get all of a sudden some dark pool in action, so just be careful out there. All right, looking around out there, let's go to DAL, UAL, those names. Those are looking good here. They're dip buying. They got a nice little dip buy through the 59. So those look good. DAL, UAL, look at DAL and now to 60.45s. So I like these names. I'm just going to look for a small pullback here to come into play. So a pullback to like 60.25s. I'm all for DAL.
Yeah, it's weird they're not really getting the huge pop that you think they would. They're getting a little bit of a pop, but just like barely Friday's high here.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, right? They had earnings that weren't the best earnings because of the shutdown, right? Of course, a lot of government workers travel, spend a bunch of government money, so that money's gone down. But this could bring the outlooks right back, right? So I like CVS here, guys. I might take some CVS.
Well, I'm just looking at it for right
take a little bit.
Again, I know you guys take your Thanksgiving holiday really serious, and there's a lot of travel that goes on around there, so that might be one to really keep an eye on.
Yep. All right, Pfizer trying to get going here. Let's go. Come on, Pfizer. Let's get a nice little breakout here. Give me 1 second.
Sure thing. Battling cats. I can see him
You know
battling
the
cats.
life.
Not the Michael cats, right? But
Yeah. Yeah, battling cats.
someone mentioned Palantir. Oh
SPY
yeah,
still climbing, and it's some random
ripping.
stocks, guys.
Palantir just ripping here.
I mean, it's up 1.8. 6% overall, though. It's a good gap up.
Yeah, 6% move is
It's squeezing
great.
out the shorts, right? Remember when I told you that like a lot of these, they're not gonna make it easy. Also on the short side, they're just squeezing out anybody that got the 190 short on Palantir right now. It's just like, good. Why? Why? I was up 10 points. I didn't take the money.
Hmm. Well, you just and at that
Yeah,
point,
that's
I'd
it's
never feel
tough.
bad. It's like, hey, man, you know that shorting in the long run just doesn't work. Like we know that, so don't do it.
Yeah, make sure it's a real crappy company if you want to do
Well,
it.
take your hit, make your money. On it's like why I was laughing at all the Michael Burry stuff is A, because
Yeah, man.
it was reported way wrong, like way wrong.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and then B, it
stepping up the CVS.
as everyone's freaking out over this reporting way wrong and is tanking the stock, guaranteed that dude's covering. Yeah, open is ripping here. So opens up 11%. Great little
Open.
day
There you
here.
go.
Oh,
Rocket
this is
could
a
be a good
nice.
name, right? Rocket, Open, those types of names. They're
I
bouncing
like
back.
I like this daily chart because just slow, controlled, no panic pullback, and then this gap down and then ripped after earnings, right? Gap down just rallied all day, and now it's continuing today. So it might be some people are short there as well, like hot from the short side. So yeah, Rocket is another one to keep an eye on. The mortgages, not the pharmaceuticals. They're of course different beasts. And yeah, that kind of the same look, like a little bit more down move than open, not on a percentage basis, but a relative basis. So a little bit more of a move down, and then we're starting to get a little bit of a bounce here after that. So
Uh-oh.
nice base here on the 5 minute.
I got a brand new modem, and my internet's still being a little laggy today.
Oh no.
That's always fun, right?
Hmm.
I went and got a brand new one after I got a brand new one like 2 months ago. But you know how it is, man.
SPY just continuing here, trying to break to new highs. Huge push off the open here on the SPY for sure.
CVS might
Q's
come down.
up, just hit up 2% on the day. Big day for the market.
Try to add a little bit here. Ah. DAL. Yeah, nice little pullback there on DAL.
Move, short and move. Oh, this is from geez.
Good lord.
Nice move on move, so to speak.
Pfizer, you suck, dude. Just gets the volume and doesn't want to get the juice.
Yeah, chopping around here.
Just chopping.
Just
Chop.
chopping.
Just
It's
chop.
weird to see so many stocks chopping with the market just really popping. So
Yeah.
there's definitely some names out there doing really well, some doing poorly. And if you take a look, IWM, this is I like IWM and RSP as
Oh.
a better look at the average stock, and they're just chilling off the open,
Stock pickers environment, that's for sure.
yeah, which is great for us.
Stock pickers environment, guys. CVS pulled back there. Going to look for a move back above 79s, but might get washed here on that name towards 78.60s. We'll see if it comes back or not. DAL, another one that I like, but those are just names on pullbacks.
UNH is interesting to me as a is pulling back here.
Yeah. Giving you
And
the opportunity at least.
maybe giving me the shot. Maybe. So I just need to keep an eye here. Oh, another trade through the bot and an HRTG, a long trade this time.
Yeah.
You can see the big move that happened yesterday. It's pulling back into here. Oh, another one. GMed. Buying a little GMed. So I got 2 longs and 2 shorts on. So that's nice. So was shorting as the market was ripping up there, buying a little bit as the market's selling off. That puts me kind of risk neutral, I guess one could say.
One could say. Bro, I should have just watched the bros and been a bro today.
Bros, that guy, that market wizard who's is this the bros, the coffee company, not the
Oh
insurance
yeah.
company? Yeah. He did a big kind of, I was reading his Substack, I think it was, a big email about
Yeah.
from the unknown market wizard. This guy he calls it social arbitrage. They have a whole podcast called Dumb Money, and he's basically he looks at the street, right? What are people
Yeah.
doing? What are people
No,
interested in, right?
it's one of my favorite names in the long run. I think it's gonna at least the model is really to destroy Starbucks, and I think in the long run, Starbucks is on the run.
I'm fine with destroying Starbucks. Gazillion dollars. My family has probably spent there throughout the years.
Yeah. Yeah, Dutch Bros is just drive through kind of coffee, no inside, double lanes to make things faster, like kind of Chick-fil-A does.
Smart.
People outside taking your orders while you're in the line, not like majority of times where you got to wait to get up to a box, then order. There's just people literally walking around with iPads. They just get through your order really fast and make you a decent coffee with decent machines right there, and that's it. You get out.
Yeah.
I think another good thing they have for them is they have a lot of these like kind of, and I wouldn't drink them, but they have a lot of these like kind of fruit flavored energy drinks like that they make like right there
Yeah.
and there. So
That's good.
Hendrix wants to go on ChatGPT. Michael, should I let him go on ChatGPT? Because he just hit the the Stream Decks like 90
Uh-oh.
times to open
Uh-oh.
ChatGPT. Cat's trying to go on
Okay.
ChatGPT, man.
This, there's integration now with probably a lot of different
Chat
like
conversations for
foods and
cats.
yeah, it's like give me that food. I'll be
I
interested
haven't
there.
asked ChatGPT, can you talk to my cat yet?
Oh man, I sat it down in front of my 3-year-old, and I just said, "This is Dada's robot. Have fun." And they went off for ever, and it was almost to the point where you could almost hear ChatGPT starting to get annoyed. Like, if there's anything else I can do for you, it's like, no, you talk to him. He's gonna rant at you about dinosaurs for the next 45 minutes. You do have fun.
I love it. Love it. All right. Well, Pfizer back into the green. Let's see if it finally wants to run above 25s today. That's my thinking, that if this really gets going, it gets above 25 and really makes a run. I don't want to miss it. So I've set some risk here on CVS and looking for Pfizer to run, looking for some of these healthcare companies to run today, and we'll see if we get the run. Right. A name that is kind of coming back, APLD. Apple's really hot today, guys. That's what's holding up the market. A lot of value tech. So look for value tech. AMD also is doing well, so it's not only that, right? But you got to look through like MU, like they're washing AVGO, or Nvidia's not partaking. Meta's coming back a little bit. I think that's one name to watch for a comeback, just because it's been such in the gutter, right? So a lot of times I look for the ones that are also in the gutter, because if they can change tunes, they could just start to get a little bit higher here. So it just got off that 620 spot, Meta. and it just undercut towards 623 today. So a little part of me feels like risking off that 620s, and it would be an interesting like level, right? So
Because that's the one that's really been just beaten right up.
yeah, I took it to the shed and forgot about it, man.
Smoked on earnings.
Yeah, and a lot of it was AI outlook, right? But if AI outlook changes, that's how you bring it right back, right?
Yeah. And a nice little push there off of that. My mind med just ripping, so I'll take that. Just all day up here for mind med.
All
So it
right.
looks like psychedelics, MSOS. Oh, that might have been interesting. Oh no, not really. Because MSOS, I figured it stalled because of the government was being shut down. So who's going to be able to put through new policies or whatever with the whole government shutdown? But now the government's potentially, I guess, reopening. The question really is with something like MSOS is that going to pick back up again? Because that was chart still looking good. It's just range bound, right? It hasn't given us any opportunity here. So a little bit of a gap up today. So this will be interesting. And remember, there's MSOX. If you want a little bit of juice, you can play a little bit of juice there on your marijuana play.
I don't think it's a bad play because the government's coming back. I'll be right back, guys.
Yep. So yeah, take a look here at the SPY. We broke out, and then you can see we pulled back over the last couple minutes here. We tried to come back in and retest these levels, and just found buyers like right away. So that to me is the most confirming thing. It's why I like this breakout retest kind of trade as old as time. It just shows, because what you're looking for is to see, was this a breakout, and are we just going to fall right back into the middle of the range? If it's a breakout and we fall back into the middle of the range, well, right, that's no fun. That's okay. So we're done there. If we break out and then we can continue to push higher, that's super interesting to me. UNH starting to give a little bit back here. Let me actually add in indicators. I'm going to add in a VWAP, because that might actually be the move, right? If this can get back through VWAP here on UNH, that might be the very easy play. And I know, again, our boy Mitch loves this Oscar, but it's just been getting killed. So I do have this. If it can break back through VWAP for a potential play, a long way to go, right? A long move here before this thing can really get going. So yeah, nice overall look there. Then we take a look. CSIQ, this one short has not obviously been working. XTI, that one's coming back on me. That's no good. So I think, yeah, one out of three so far. So not the best morning for me from these trades, but that's fine, right? I expect that. Right? Every morning, what happens is, yeah, I get this pile in period, and during this pile in period, I'm generally wrong, and I'll get stopped out of any one that I'm really wrong in, and then hopefully through the rest of the day, these all converge. So my game plan of what to do with these guys is nothing. It's just you just kind of wait and see here. So SPY, right, came back down. Here's VWAP. Here's the overall high. Dug in there perfectly, and starting to rebound. Take a look at UNH, trying desperately to get through this VWAP, and then right, OSCR again. If we break through VWAP and we close on a 2-minute basis, you should see this potentially just kind of enter my account. So you guys notice we're using Trade the Pool here for their platform. We're planning on doing some cool stuff where we're going to dedicate some part of the screen to some scanners that are just going to run. And then when we're not here, we're going to probably continue the stream all day, not today, but starting soon, to have a lot of just some of the Trade the Pool scanners just going, so that people can just watch if you want. To have that open. And then also, we're going to load up some bots, and we're going to have those. We're working on me and Mitch's kind of undercut and rally idea for a bot there, and then potentially just be able to take a trade based off of that. So it'll be really, really cool. So like you'll just see the bot just trading away. So and yeah, so again, if you're a member of Trade Pool, we already have the scanners. We're going to use this high-low list. Right, this is a pretty simple one. Things hit new highs. Things right. These are the ones that are down the most, and these are the ones that are up the most. And then we're going to partner that with right the gainers and losers list here as well. Right, these are ones up on the day. These are ones down on the day. So people can just kind of take a look at these. But yeah, so we'll be using a bot for so like OSCR here would be one of those potential undercut and rallies here as well. So push from there. They have a chat room for members and new members. Absolutely. We've got a pretty bumping Discord there that is available on our website. And it's a great place to go and just hang out with everyone and just chat as the day goes by, right? And if you just search for, let me trade the pool Discord, you can join there. I know they've got rooms for new traders and old traders, and they do all kinds of stuff there as well, right? Michael, can you do earnings winner scanners? Well, right now it's whatever is built into Trade the Pool. Because obviously, we have to use their scanners. We can't grab someone else's scanners and throw them on stream. Any place that you see doing that is stealing. So we don't want to get involved in that, of course. Right? Because you're just taking someone else's scanner that they built and they're paying for data and just hucking on screen. That's not a good thing. It's not what you want to do. There you go. There's the Discord right there. Discord link. Thank you. Yeah, so go hang out there. There's tons of traders. They're there all day, right? We do this stream in the morning. Again, we're going to turn it into kind of bots and scanners and things like that in the afternoon. But the Discord, I know they're there. They're hanging out in that Discord 24/7. They're good to go all day long. So that's a great place to right, ask. You can get community feedback. So here's UNH. I'm watching this one. If this one closes up here, I might actually go to UNHG.
All right, so I got stopped out of my CVS, so now it's time, man.
UNHG, and you'll see me take a simple discretionary,
CVS looks
simple
good.
discretionary trade here of 100 shares.
Man,
There we go.
Pfizer, dude. So annoying.
And we'll just risk down there, and then we'll just put a stop. Or put a, hey, what do we want to make? Make probably twice our risk. There we go. So that trade set up. And the idea there was simply this is the thing that everyone hates and everyone's selling. So yeah, I want to go where everyone hates, right? And take a little shot at lows there. It came down to lows and held those perfectly. And we had that nice little bounce. So this is UNHG is a double leverage UNH. So we're going to watch that one to see. It could come down real quick, but again, we're just trading against the low of the day to see, do they come in and say, okay, healthcare is beaten up. We can move from there.
No.
Stops versus trailing stops. Intraday, I've never found a system that you can just put a trailing stop on and walk away, to be honest. Not saying it doesn't exist, saying I've never found that. The stuff just wiggles too much intraday, and you remember our goal is to try to get as much of the move as we can. You know, for me, it's always I just put out a stop. If I have a target, I put out a target. Then I just walk away. We actually recorded a podcast episode on Friday all about this, people who kind of move stops to break even and things like that. So
I gotta bring my program back up here.
So there's UNH kind of dipped in a little bit. It's trying to break this candle's high. So let's just take a look around the market with what's happening. SPY just chopping about, holding VWAP, Qs. Just chopping about here, holding VWAP and IWM down, right? So IWM never got moving there in IWM. Never got going at all.
They don't like IWM, man.
It's always the redheaded stepchild, right? It's there's and it's kind of built that way. As soon as a really good company comes up in IWM, they kick it out. They goes to the mid caps, goes to the large caps. So it's always kind of an underperforming market. But people like it because it's choppy intraday. And if you're someone, if you use like a TZA or TNA or something like that, you kind of go from there. Yeah, I
Ah,
know.
I forgot to save my layout and I had to close my platform there. So yeah, I am stuck here making new layouts. It is what it is.
That's fine. Yeah, I know Ripple's having a great one. Bitcoin is still like 105, so it went down to I think 98 or 97 at one point. Now it's hanging out at 105, which is good. So it's good holding on there. UNH. Ooh, so UNH is going. That's good. So UNHG, that's the trade we're looking for. So we're looking for this to break high. So again, the
Get
idea
it,
behind
get
this
it.
is simple. They hated it. Everyone hated it. They said healthcare is over. And the fact that there was not a huge gap down overnight made me think, well, do they really hate it? Right? Are they,
Mm.
you know,
Do they
are they
kind of hate it?
like, if you really hated it, then why didn't you sell, especially on the open here, right? There was no kind of sell back here.
Oh,
Frog, so short here on
froggy.
Frog. So CSIQ is not working. ATXI is working a little bit. HRTG and whatever GMed's working. And then we have this new one shorting as well. And this UNHG, this is the trade for me today, which I'll be probably checking it out of pretty soon. But just looking to see if we can break through highs here. Yeah, XXRP and Salt are moving good. We have Solana. And the problem, right, by looking at the equities, you don't really get that overnight action. Is that, yeah, they're gapping up. The over weekend action was better for these. But Ripple's interesting here. I know there's some good Ripple news. I didn't read it, but I did see some good Ripple news coming out there.
Lilly jumping Johnson and Johnson. So that's going to help your UNH trade. There you go. You got some names really taking off in healthcare. So that's probably where you want to look at if you're looking for trades. It's an interesting area that is getting stronger. The funny part is the overall it's red from the open, but there's some names that are just strong.
Yeah, Lily just dropping near highs here, so I need to see that break, but that's looking really good. And just XLV is the easiest way to look at it, right? XLV ripped right from the opening price. It's just kind of consolidating here, so just shows that at least healthcare as a whole. I'm sure that, again, we always joke about the Goldman Sachs employees locked in the basement. I'm sure they were locked in there during that first kind of tweet rage storm he had and said, okay, which ones are going to do better in the long run and which ones would do worse in the long run. If this kind of happened the way it happened, then great. And if not, they're just going to spend probably a couple days positioning those, right?
PSNL, big penny stock runner of the day.
Heard that one before. Yes. So just looking at Walter, our boy Walter Bloomberg here, Johnson says he wants to reopen as soon as possible in the House. Again, I don't know. I hear Congress, I hear Senate, I hear Health. I don't know the difference between any of these, but whoever Johnson is wants the House to vote on something as well. Yeah, Shaw's saying Ripple opening ETFs, and that's going to fuel Ripple price. Did it with Ethereum though? I just wonder if the more and more these ETFs open up on crypto, if people are going to care kind of less and less. Because with Bitcoin, it was a big deal, like from the moment it was approved, and then I think Bitcoin actually pulled back as soon as they launched the ETF. And then with these other ones, I just wonder if there's, yeah, if we just don't really care anymore, right? So that's it's always the thing to watch, is that how much does the market react to an event. That's why, again, I'm looking at this UNH, which is pulling back a little bit, so I might just kill this in a second. But the if bad news comes out and there is no reaction, which I'm kind of looking at this and saying, okay, well, right, where are we at? 332. So we're down just a tiny bit on UNH after that kind of whole diatribe that I'm going to shut down your whole business. It's like, okay, we're just getting desensitized to a Trump tweet, right? And we're just not going to react anymore the same way we did during the first admin, right? Right off the bat, every tweet was a big deal, and then it slowly kind of devolved from there.
Looking a little bit at MSOX, but just not much today. COGT. Right back at 33s. If it's going to come back, could be an area. It doesn't look too bad off this.
Johnson tells House members to begin returning to Washington. Don't they? Wouldn't they live in, like, I am so clueless when it comes to you guys' politics.
No, they don't live there, man. They fly there just for the business. They just spend that government money.
Well, you think it'd be like part of the gig. It's like, okay, if you're gonna work in Washington, you have to move to Washington. I guess they'd
No,
have to be like talking to the people at home anyway, right? Like you wouldn't want to pull someone out of their state that they're supposed to be representing, I guess.
they just
And
fly
that makes
in
me, I
there.
don't even know I don't even know how it works up here. So it's probably the same thing up here for our parliament members. I am oblivious entirely to politics, and I am very okay being entirely oblivious to politics.
Oh,
I've met a lot of people who have gone broke trading their politics. I've never met anyone who's gotten rich by trading their politics. UNH continues just to kind of chop and chop and chop here. So let's take a look what the SPY is doing. It's looking like it's turning and trying to make new highs here. It's trying to pop up through new highs. If we take a look at IWM, it's again trying to catch up, but a long way to go here in IWM to kind of keep up here. And then the Qs have been leading the way. So the average stock, I guess, is trying to keep up. The big cap stocks are really ripping. So, and then MSOS. Ooh, that was there some news that happened there in weed?
no, I'm just looking at it. It's just been trying to break the $6 spot on MSOX, but
Yeah, just big rip there, and then it came right back down.
it's just cannabis, man.
Yeah.
It's a trappy chart there. Monday is getting taken to the shed.
Yeah, bad earnings, I think, on that one. MNV.
It is getting walloped.
I was following that one for the longest time because
Is it halted? No, it's not.
the CEO of that guy is, I guess, an ex-Facebook dude. I read somewhere, and
Better than an ex Enron guy.
well, and he had, like, I think he's a billionaire. The guy who started it, and there was a while. I'll see if I can find it. There's a while there where every time I would open up, I have a little page that just tells me
Yeah.
Insider buys and sells, and this guy was just putting in of his own money.
Oh, is it Duskin Monovitz and Asana?
Maybe.
It's probably Dustin.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking,
Asana.
because Asana does the same thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
probably it.
it's probably him, dude, and he put a ton, and
It
he's
was like,
ex Facebook. Yeah,
yeah, it
he's
was
ex Facebook.
every day, dude, just put like $30 million into his company, just every day. And the stock was tanking, and just every day this dude's piling 30. And I'm like, I don't care about insider sells. Insider sells don't interest me because, the guy's got to pay some tax. He wants a new house. He's divorced his wife. I don't care. There's a million reasons to sell your company's stock. To do an insider buy means you took after tax revenue and you bought
I'm gonna
your own
take a
company,
small name here, guys.
right? Like an insider buy to me is a much larger deal than any insider sell.
Took a long there on Gree, Gree, Gree,
Re.
Gree. I think I'm being greedy, maybe. All
All right, while you grab that, I'll be right back.
right. Well, here you guys have it. Let's see if it gets above 15 minutes. Has it above 210 here shortly. Let's see. So the pattern's there, right? You guys can clearly see the pattern there, right? So now it's more, do we get the breakout? Let's see. So it would be a break back above 210s and then going higher. Let's see if we get that move. I really don't want it to break 190 at this point. Looking for this just to recover back through the 210 spot. Then you can get that spike to 230 in a hurry. We'll see if this thing wants to run to maybe 280s, $3. Doesn't have to be the biggest run. There are some smaller names moving out there today, guys. So those at least are in play. Vero's one that I like off the 250 spot. We talked about that one earlier. That one could keep going here. It doesn't look bad. It's holding the pullback. Now a little bit of a cup and handle pattern. So it looks good there. We'll see if it takes off. What's going on out there, chat? How we doing? It's good to see you guys out there. All right, what's going on out there, guys? What you guys taking a look at? GLTO, what a crazy move there. There's Vero. There's Vero getting going there. Vero making a move there. Now to 288s, 280s. So this looks good. Looks hot. Let's see if it takes 3 here. Does it go 290s and straight to 3 here? 290s, 292s. We'll see if Vero can really get moving there. So Vero, nice little move there. We'll see if it can keep on keeping on. This is one I was looking at 250 just a little while ago, and it held the 250 move. It just kind of went sideways. I stopped watching. Then it got hot there. All right, my greed just not wanting to get above 2 here. So in a second, I'm going to just time stop out if it doesn't go ahead and make the move. I'm really only trying to give it like a 15-minute candle. So it's either it goes or no goes. So the pattern's there to hold 190. It just needs to get going, but it's going to need the volume to come in.
Tax saying to bring the cat on the show. That'd be funny. I saw this TikTok, and this guy's got like a chicken, and he's having him try to pass a funded account in the future space with this chicken, and he just
I
has
love
like
it.
he has mealworms on like different instruments and whatever it goes and eats, and then he's got one for buy and sell.
Nothing
And
wrong with
that's
that.
so it's like, all right, the chicken's selling gold today. I think it's up like $1,000 on this eval account already. It's just funny to see. Rand. I think the message he's trying to give is because he does I think a 1.5 to 1 risk reward on every trade. So I think he's just trying to prove that kind of through random trading, if you manage risk correctly and did a 1.5 to 1 or a 2 to 1 risk reward, in the long run you'd be fine.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny.
SPY is going up, but it really isn't. This is what I told you guys. This is what I was a little bit concerned about. It's like, It's
Well,
just
yeah,
trying
we
to get
had
you to
the
spend a bunch of money, man. I think the market is almost trying to be like, yeah, keep spending money, keep throwing shares.
I've got I say all the time, I've got buddies who don't trade when the market's inside, and then I also have a whole bunch of people, some of the same people, and they don't trade when the gap up's more than I think it's like 0.5%,
Yeah, it just
on
makes it
open day.
tough on the intraday action. Like it just makes
Yeah,
it
it's done its move, right?
yeah,
It's kind of everything that is new has gotten priced into the market,
real
on
quick.
open, and if you don't have any positions to kind of unwind on open, then there's yeah, you just kind of sit there and you kind of put your hands in your pockets and you say, okay, well, I don't want to, because while it's digesting, like I think that's what we're seeing now is a lot of digestion. There's probably a lot of shorts that have to cover. There's a lot of longs that are taking profits, and
Meta's doing well, guys. I think it's just a mega tech rotation quality, guys. Look for quality names to hold names. Today, you're seeing Microsoft now starting to get into the green. What's not holding up? The things that are still like I mentioned, they have no fundamentals behind them, like SMR, NNE. I'll name another one, Clean Spark, right? An MSTR, a GEV, a USAR. Ouster, right? Things that are just like kind of in the future. But you look at Meta, look at Microsoft, look at those names, you start to see a little bit different tune, right? You see Apple, right? If you only knew these names and you only looked at those charts, that would tell me market's up and tech is rallying, right? So I think you continue to look at what's leading the cues and kind of go with that, right? At least for the time being, that could be a good way. And what's leading the cues? You got AppLovin, Palantir, Datadog, Datadog's a big breakout, guys. So I would take a look at that. But yeah, definitely big breakout there. Micron doing well. American Electric Power. Haven't seen that one move in a long time, and it's making a big breakout here in a utility name. You don't see that often, Michael. So
no,
I'd bring
it
that
must
name up
be
to you.
must
AEP.
be AI related.
Yeah,
Just
AEP. Crazy,
new
crazy.
news came in. Trump sells Supreme Court and
Oh.
continues to seek halt of judges' orders required to fully fund food aid for this month. So
Oh, he's
I don't
fighting back more snap, right? So
I don't know if is there a food store that would benefit off of that? Like I only know that
yeah,
Sprouts Farmers Market, but
there's a couple of grocery stores that were coming up on Friday. Maybe I don't know. Those are getting played really off of that. But you definitely have your kind of value tech names and some tech names that are just holding up the market right now. And it's in big boys. It's not little boys. Tesla
look at
coming
that.
back for the high. Maybe it might be it's time to start looking more at Tesla.
Oh, look at that Palantir chart. Wow.
Yeah,
Just
there you go. We'll take a look.
buying all day.
Yeah, buying relentless.
Straight up. We're now up
It's just
8%.
this is what you call squeezing the shorts, right? This is squeezing the shorts right back out, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way back to that gap zone, 196, right? And then it's going to probably go sideways from there. I'm definitely not thinking that Palantir gets back above 200, but that will be also a telling sign.
Yeah, the only real trades to UNH giving it up just a little bit here. Might just kind of clunk this out for just
No,
a
like
tiny loss.
OKLO just like washing off.
Pants.
This is what I mean that like you're gonna get some names that just continue to come down here, and there's gonna be some names that go float to the top. Find what floats to the top. Where's the quality? I think that's important.
Yeah, there's OKLO having a struggle. And yeah, this just feels
Mm,
like just a very, very split market, just kind of across the board. There's right areas of the market that have been doing fantastic today, and areas of the market that have been struggling just a little bit, right? So we have
yep.
XLI industrials is now down on the day, where we have XLV or healthcare up quite a bit on the day. And I guess if you had to place your bets on the weekend, I don't think many people would have seen that coming. We have, I'm just doing the advanced decliners. So we have 57% advancers and then 39% decliners. And then the rest would obviously be unchanged. and then 64% stocks making new highs, and 35% of stocks making new lows. So it's one of those, the not as big as you would think, right? 52% advancers versus 21% decliners. On a big gap like today, you would probably expect to see more in the high 60s to 70s, but just not what we're seeing currently in this market. So you have to be very careful when it comes to making sure you're not just getting too excited because the market is gapping up, like we've been talking about. And sometimes when she gaps, that's all there is. Right? It keeps trying to make new highs, but ever since that opening gap, it's just been sideways.
Yeah.
Completely sideways throughout.
This is the thing of the overnight action. This is why sometimes when I see too much big overnight action, I just almost get annoyed to even trade. I'm just like, it's not going to be much there available to me. PSNL is a smaller name that's pulled back, trying to hold the 9. Let's see if it goes back up towards 10. As you're looking for smaller names that are holding well, that's one of them, definitely. You coming back. That minerals play that's in the dirt. Maybe it start to come back, man. The minerals.
MP had a big gap up this morning.
Yeah, still holding well.
Big, huge.
One name that's back up.
Gap up.
FCX. I was looking at to see if it's going to make a little bit of a copper move here. I'd keep an eye on it. It's starting to recover. It's trying to get back to the open.
Move, halting again. Move. Not move, move. Halting to the upside with move. What is this? What do you do, move?
What do you do?
Oh, not the move. There is every time I think move, I think there's like a VIX for bonds, and it's called the move index. It's usually what I think it is, but it's obviously not. Packaged software was a $4 stock. It's up 180% today. Nice little move for those who got it.
Haha. There's Pfizer down again. Just getting walloped now.
So Lilly, new highs, just looking around here to see, right, UNH sold in, bounced back up. So a lot of battles going on here. The market might just be, again, it feels like a big digestion day. You got to think about so many people's models were updated over the weekend. There's if you ran a model based off of government shutdowns, if you run a model based off different healthcare things, if Speaker Johnson says he thinks he has votes to pass stopgap. Again, I don't know who Speaker Johnson is, but he's chatting somewhere about something today. So
yeah, they're gonna be chatting all day.
So that could be a lot of the volatility as well. If there's all of these politicians are now kind of getting back to work, there could be a lot of coming out and, right, this dude says this and the market pops up a bit, and then this lady says this and the market sells a bit, and just, again, a lot of kind of conflicting information. And if I understand it correctly, there hasn't been any votes on opening the government. So far this whole, and I say that like actually asking the question because I have no idea. This is all just speculation that people say that they have the votes to pass this bill, I think. So
what happened is that it's the Senate has voted, and it's on a certain package that could put the government back online, essentially.
but it only powers, if I read this right, it only powers a small part of the government for a small period of time.
Yeah.
Like-
So it would be like
military and
yeah. It's not for everything, but it puts everything starting to go back, and then that would push them to try to finish the things. But another thing that it would do is just a Band-Aid for 2 months. It's just a Band-Aid, guys.
And
We can be talking about these same headlines in 2 months.
Jesus.
These
As a
same ones.
Canadian, I'm
And not
exhausted
not that
hearing
we
about
could be.
this
We
shutdown.
will be talking
Oh,
about these
oh,
same
great.
headlines in 2
And
months.
the main issue with, if I get this right, with the government was this healthcare
Obamacare.
thing,
So
and
Trump
that didn't get
Trump
addressed
has a
at all.
huge vendetta against Obama because Obama looked at him in a certain dinner, and Trump told him that he could be president at any moment, and Obama said like, "Go try it." That's when Trump decided to become president.
Okay.
That's the under kind of conversation of why Trump even became president in the first place. He did it as a big fu to Obama. So
Wow, that is a lot of work for for a little bit of vengeance. Okay.
I could see it though. I could see it though because Trump has done so much that he's like, what, become president? Okay, let's just do it. All right, well, get to work, minions. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so
So
he's this. Everyone's explaining it to me. Thank you. And this is something that I'm like, I don't live in your country, so I'm not interested in like learning. Other than I need to figure out how this works just enough to get through this, and then I'll kind of forget as well.
yeah.
So
It's our government's it's just screwed up, but every government's screwed up. But let's just be honest, it's
yes,
government.
Trump is saying a bonus to air traffic controllers, a $10,000 bonus for
They
air traffic
better,
controllers who
they
didn't
better,
take time off.
yeah, they better give them some money because these guys were working. And you ready for this one, Michael? Without getting paid,
Yeah.
with the promise to get paid at some point in the future. Would you work? I don't know if I
Well, and
I
air
don't know.
traffic controls, I know they have like mandatory like psyche valves and stuff because it's such a stress. You're just managing like
Yeah,
tubes of hundreds of people all
it's
day
tough.
long,
It's
knowing
tough.
that if you screw up for a second, it's like lights out. So kind of good for them. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
what's interesting to me is that's why
It's to
you know
work. Yeah, exactly.
I think the
It's tough.
healthcare kind of trade is an interesting one where
It is.
um, the uh, the idea is that if this core Obamacare thing has not been yet dealt with, there's still, even with the government open, if I'm hearing this right, a shock event to the upside or the downside with some of these stocks. But then I look at the daily chart of like UNH, and it feels like everybody has priced in the bad event that could occur. And then, so if the good event occurs, it feels like there's a lot of upside for healthcare. And then if the
Yeah.
bad event occurs, probably a little bit of downside. And I always like plays like that. Like I like plays with like China when everybody hated China. The way I looked at it is like, okay, if everyone priced in that China sucks, then all China has to do is just not horribly suck, and there could be a
100%.
trade there, right? So I'm thinking the same thing potentially with healthcare is okay if they can just get something together,
Mm-hmm.
then potentially there's a play to be had there.
VCIG getting a little bit of a pop in the small stocks, guys. If there's one thing I'm just seeing that as plays right now that you could be playing is small stocks. There's some that are going. So that's just one way to look at it, right? Just find what flavor of tea is out there. Well, the penny teas out there, it seems like.
Well, I can go through my bot, although it's very disappointing. So CSIQ down, ATXI flat. You can see the little red line is the entry. This HRTG, we're flat on this guy. This GMed flat here as well. UNH is my one discretionary trade, up a few bucks, but more or less flat here. And then short on whatever short frog. So
There you go. Short some frogs.
bad for frogs. I don't know. I think this thing is probably
It's always
just,
been bad for frogs, man.
yeah. So this is just one that's been up a whole lot here. on the daily chart. Huge move
Hims get in the wash,
yesterday,
man.
and then move Hims. So this Hims health again. I don't understand any of these things.
So Hims
Fig-
is just like think about it like a online prescription service. That's really
okay.
what they are. They're just an online prescription service, essentially, where you don't need to go to the doctor if you want to go talk about that you have ED.
That's why the
If you
jokes.
don't want to go talk to the doctor because you're fat and you don't want to tell the doctor that you're fat and that you need to lose weight, well, then you go to them, right? Because then you do the online doctor. You go telehealth style. So that's pretty much Hims, man. It's just it's a way for people to get around going to the doctors and get it delivered to their door.
And Trump says he is going to give that money to the aircraft controllers that work and take it from the money for the air traffic controllers that didn't go to work. So the ones who decided not to work for free get money taken away from them, I guess.
That's not going to bode well in courts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trump loves doing things that he knows are going to go straight to court, but yeah, that's one of those where it just goes straight to court and just get destroyed.
It'd be good to be his buddy and a lawyer because
Got a lot to do.
you know you're getting business.
Yeah, you got a lot to do. You got a lot of business coming your way. Hey, let's just say he loves Palm Beach for a reason.
And, yeah, if you're a lawyer, you're whining and dining him and saying everything
Oh
he's
yeah.
everything he wants to say. You're saying.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna head out to here. I got some things I got to take care of, family
Sure.
situations. But it was one of those days where it happened what I kind of thought, which was just the SPY would look great, but could we catch moves or anything that the pullback would have been better, right? The
Yeah.
SPY pullback into the gap would have been better. This leaves you just on the sideline with dry powder. And like Michael said, if you didn't buy the dip on Friday, well, guess what? It's going to be tough to buy the dip right now because you're not buying a dip. You're buying the rip, essentially. And buying the rip is always dangerous. That's a lot. It's way more dangerous to buy the rip than it is to buy the dip, right? And I think you can move on with that conversation to kind of expand on that. But Michael,
Yes,
I think
sir.
that's one of the things that you do well, my friend, right? Is that you're willing to take that. And I think that it's like you mentioned, it's not going to seem like it's the fun time to buy.
No.
And I think that that's what you need to be asking yourself sometimes, right? And sometimes writing down our thought process, right? Like, hey, I was a little panicky here, but my system told me to buy here, right? But writing down those things and understanding that, hey, our emotions can lie to us very quickly, right? And so this is why we need to try to rely on math to try to help us. Just straight up to keep it simple, right? Like, how can I rely on math to try to help me be a better trader? Those are great things that you can definitely learn here, guys. And it's one thing that I'll definitely say it's what gives you edge. Edge is not from something that you think about. It's something that's quantifiable, testable, and like Michael always says, you can make it a system, right? So, hey, wish you guys the best of luck. Have a good rest of your stream.
good one.
I'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m.
See you tomorrow. All right, guys. Yeah. So we'll do a little wrap up here. If the market ever gets going, we'll talk a little bit more about the market. But yes, it feels like one of those days that when you get these extreme gap ups, you're talking like 1% plus gap ups. Yes, it could have tanked. Yes, it could have ripped. But this seems like the most likely scenario. And again, you're probably getting shorts that are getting blown out. You're getting longs that are taking profits, and the two of those things just are going to kind of beat each other against their head all day until. And again, I'm seeing more and more tweets from our boy Walter quoting Trump. So that means he's talking somewhere, or he's on his Twitter tweeting about something. So it's that could cause something, right? If he just comes out and yells something. I know he just did a little Delta Airlines and offering flight attendants to pick up or extra pay for extra flights. So if you're a flight attendant on Delta right now, you can make a bunch of money if you really want to go hard to the paint, which probably be a good idea. And get that Christmas bunny going. And yeah, UNH is bouncing. The SPY, I don't want to say selling off here, but we're trying to break through VWAP, and it's just a wild day. And yeah, so just continue the chat about buying the dips, and this is just something from experience, right? I part of my mentality of this was formed in 2008, and in 2008, you would have died if you took a shot every time they said double dip recession, or that the market was not going to bounce, or whatever it is. You would have not have made it, right? And if we go, let's do like a let's go let's do it's a weekly chart here. Do an edit, and then we'll add a time and a weekly chart, and we'll make that a favorite. We'll go into a weekly chart. We'll go back 20 years on our weekly chart. Geez, 20 years. I think that would go to 2005. Looks like there's some problems there. Anyway, so after 2013, after 2008, when the market started to bounce, it never looked back. It just continued, and it just ripped, and it ripped, and it ripped, and it ripped. And there was so many people on talking about, hey, no, the market's going to come back. They kept talking again, this double dip. The market's going to double dip. It's going to double dip. It's going to come right back. It's going to come right back, and over and over and over again talking about that. And that kind of went to show that the fundamentals then slowly started to catch up, and they said, oh, everything's doing much better now. But at the low, the fundamentals always look the worst, and at the high, the fundamentals always look the best. So if you are making your trading based off fundamentals, I just encourage you to go back and look at those things, because it's very, very noticeable that if the market is making new highs, the fundamentals look amazing. Everything looks great. And then if markets are making new lows, then the fundamentals kind of look like crap. And you don't know that the other thing is happening until it's too late. Right? So the easiest way to think about this is earnings. Earnings come out once every 3 months. You could have a stock kind of completely fall apart before the earnings tell you that the company's bad, and vice versa. So that creates the ability to a little bit of edge in things like buying the dip, because everyone else is panicking out. So I'm not saying you buy every company that's selling off and you just rip vice versa. That's probably not the move going forward. But so my thinking here on things like UNH is, if I look at this and knowing, you guys saw how little I know about what's going on, and I still don't understand what Obamacare is or any of that stuff. But the idea is that whatever is potentially bad coming out looks like it's pretty much already priced in here. So then there leaves you two options. One, there was this whole tirade by Trump over the weekend, and the question is, did that surprise markets? Well, this is the high of the day for UNH on Friday, and then this is where we are now. So it looks like the market doesn't really care that much. So it's already priced in the bad scenario. And sometimes when you price in the bad scenario, there's only one way to go. That's up. Right? Again, I'm not a genius here figuring this stuff out. It's just kind of the way it goes, where you look for the thing that everybody hates, and sometimes that's the move. Not always, but sometimes, right? That's the move that you want to do. You want to say, okay, well, find the thing that everyone hates, and more importantly, find the thing that everyone hates, and then look for it to move higher first, uh, or balance out. Like I know Mitch mentions Oscar, and I put that on a chart, and it's getting killed here. But like we talked about before, if it gets back through VWAP, I'm going to buy some of this too, and not thinking that, hey, it's going to rip to a million. But if you look at this chart, it's it went from 23 down to 15. So it's already looks like it's priced in that something incredibly bad's going to happen. And right now it's at 1507. You see right down here. So it's already priced in that bad things are occurring. So if bad things are going to occur, then I'll be okay with that because it might be already priced in. And if bad things aren't going to occur and this thing is going to push higher, well, there might be a little bit of a trade there. My latest thoughts to watch the momentum scanners and just short the highs. Well, the problem with shorting the highs is you're not going to know what the high is until after it's the high, right? That's you know, I'd love to buy the low. I'd love to buy the low on Oscar right here. No idea what the low is going to be until after it's the low. So again, go ahead. If it's a strategy that works, it's a strategy that you should be able to test, right? You should be able to go through and look at it and say, okay, here's some amount of testing that has taken place that has confirmed to me that there's some amount of benefit or edge to this one as well, right? Trump says extra tariff funds after the $2,000 will reduce the national debt. Okay, so he's still saying that everyone down there gets 2 Gs. So congratulations. Take your 2 Gs and go spend it. Spend it wisely. Be a little responsible. Buy yourself some eval accounts. And there's UNH trying to pop up here. Momentum scanners on YouTube. Well, yeah, again, most of those momentum scanners on YouTube are just stealing, right? So they're trying to take a scanner from someone like Trade Ideas or someone like that, and they're just rebroadcasting their data. So I wouldn't rely on those because at some point they're going to get sued because they're stealing. It's theft. So that could be problematic, of course. But again, a scanner, I always say this, and again, I worked at Trade Ideas for years, and one of the things that I always say is a scanner is not a trading strategy. A scanner is just telling you what's moving on. It'd be like, Google Maps is not teaching you to drive a car, is I think a good analogy for it, right? Google Maps is very simply um, telling you what you wanted it to tell you, which is to say, how do I get from this location to this location? It's you that has to create the strategy. This is why I think everyone should kind of do their own scanners, is because if you're just looking at stuff that's going up all day, it's great, but what does that mean to you? Right? The best scanners that you build are very custom built, and they are for a very specific reason in which you are focusing a lot of time and energy on what is it that you want to see. And if you don't know that, then again, technology is not the answer. And technology will not, it will make you potentially a better trader. It will not make you a profitable trader. Right? What makes you a profitable trader is a trading style and a philosophy and a game plan that includes an entry and an exit, a stop loss, a profit target, a whole bunch of contingencies around what would happen if none of those things occur. A lot of work in kind of the background is what a trading strategy is. And then from a trading strategy, then you build a scanner that helps you find things that meet that strategy. So, just an example, if you're someone who likes to short gap ups, you like stocks that gap up, and you have some metric to say this is gapping up, quote unquote, too much, and I'm going to fade it. Okay. So then you figured out where the stop loss and the profit target and all of those things are. Then you would build a scanner to say, okay, show me the gap ups that I have determined are too much based off of some metric, and show me just those. So a scanner is just a tool to take your trading plan that you've worked very hard on and you've tested and you've paper traded and you've journaled. This is the work of trading, right? Sitting here and hitting buttons to buy and sell stocks is not the work of trading. It is all that other stuff. And I always say the people who don't do that other stuff fail, and the people who do have a chance to succeed, a chance, right? So it is, what is my strategy? Why do I believe this strategy works in the long run? Why do I believe there's edge here that's undiscovered in the market, or at least not very capitalized on, so on and so forth and so on. And then you just build a scan to meet whatever that criteria is. And that criteria is going to be different for everyone. So that's where scanners, I wouldn't even recommend anyone look at scanners or get involved in scanners or anything until they have all of that other stuff, right, set up and programmed in a way that makes sense, because that's what's the most important. I have thoughts on box theory. I've never heard of box theory. Let me Google box theory trading. Is this like Darvis box? Yeah, if you're talking about the Darvis box, it's a trend following strategy. Makes sense. It will work when markets trend and won't work when markets don't trend. And for those who don't know, Nicholas Darvis, I think was his name, was like a circus performer or something way back in the day, and then just ended up having this strategy to buy stocks that were going up, which is something that I've said for a long time. And yeah, this was like ancient, ancient. I don't know, I forget when, but Nicholas Darvis was hundreds of years ago, and yeah, ended up becoming rich from trading, even though he was just had the money of a circus performer. So I think it works. I think it's there's like 1,000 bits of nuance that you have to surround something like that. You know, you can't just kind of from the get go just say, okay, I'm a, a Darvis box guy, and away I go. Where's your stop? Where's your profit target? How have you tested it? How have you tested it? Right. And yeah, the new funded trader said he worked on a strategy for 6 months before he traded it. That sounds right. That sounds like someone who's willing to put in the work. My worry always is people that aren't willing to put in the work. They just want to go and hit a button. Looks like the market is just falling apart a little bit here. We had our screen on UNH, and UNH isn't, which is interesting. But it looks like the SPY is falling here. I'm looking for news. I'm not seeing any news. Now this again, we've had this big gap up. We're at the low of the range. I don't know why. What's going on here? Yeah, we're I don't know. I don't know what happened, but the market is I'm not seeing anything new from old Trump, but it looks like we are having a little bit of a sell here. Ooh, yeah, we are having a little bit of a sell in some places. Let's take a look. Let's see how widespread this is. You can see I go to IWM, yeah, a little bit of a sell off, but not nearly as dramatic. The Qs seem to be leading the charge there. If you look at the RSP, again, the average large cap company, it's holding on just A-OK. So there's probably some big, like an Nvidia, an Apple. Somebody had a bit of a bad time there. Had a moment. Oh, so you're looking at, so the box theory says that a stock will stay in the previous day's range and buy or sell when it nears the top or bottom. So you're just playing the high or low of yesterday's range. Well, the beauty of something like that is it would be very easy to test that. That would be a very simple thing to test. So don't just watch a YouTube video and say, hey, is this something that is interesting to me? Now that you have the theory and you see how that's only one part and a really unimportant part of the trading strategy. So you buy the stock as it hits the low of the day. And we could use UNH because UNH actually did the thing. Right, UNH hit the high of yesterday's range, roughly. Right. So first of all, we're going to go through the difference, and this is what makes systematic traders, I think, so powerful. As you said, hey, you buy when it gets to the bottom, and you sell when it gets to the top of yesterday's range. Like, okay, is that the exact tick? Is that within a certain percentage basis? Is it within a certain dollar basis? Is it within a certain ATR basis of the higher or low of yesterday's range? And then, okay, let's say you short here. Let's say it's the very tick. You short the very tick of the high of yesterday's range. Where's your stop loss go? What do you use for a stop loss? Is it ATR based? You use the next day's high. You use the next day's low. Where does the structure go? Now, okay, so let's say you've got that figured out and the stop loss figured out. Where's your profit target? Right? Is it back at VWAP? Is it the low of the day? Is it some percentage in the prior day's range? Is it again ATR base or Bollinger Band base? From there, what position size are you going to use? Well, you're going to need to figure out what the probability that your trade size is correct. First of all, you've got to go in and do that. That one's going to be hard. Um, and so you go in and you try to figure out this potential math, and you have to find a position size that's going to make it so that you're not getting just completely torn apart on the ones that you're wrong. Because this is one that you're right very frequently, but you don't make much money on when you're right. Okay, well, that's going to need a different position sizing structure. You one that you are uh, right very infrequently, but you make a whole lot of money when you're right. And then how does that work? And you can see that like the box theory, right, and the setup is the least important part. All that other stuff that I just ranted about for 5 minutes, that's the most important part, right? I really do believe you could take any trading strategy that exists, as long as it's tested and has like a 51% edge, and you could make a lot of money by doing it, or you could blow yourself apart entirely. It's the devil in the details that I think really, really change everything when it comes to trading. So not to be obnoxious, but that is the work of trading, right? That is what we are trying to do as traders, is all of that little stuff. And the reason it's important to do it now is because you don't want to do it when the emotions and everything are flying, because you're not going to think well then. So you have to have all of that set up with your trading plans. Okay, I'm going to short the high of the day. And when I short the high of the day, then what do I do? Right, all those things. Then yes, James, you could check out Stock Rocks on YouTube, or right, be careful. Well, not you, but don't get too reliant on it, because I know those people, they're planning on suing them to oblivion, right? Um, and there are ways they're going to detect what account that is, and they're going to sue that person into the next dimension, as well as they should, right? They're thieves. If you just take somebody's content and then just like regurgitate it like that, or not content, you're taking their intellectual property, you're taking their data, you're taking all those things, and then you just spit it out there on the internet. As someone, again, I'm looking at that Stock Rocks now, that's Trade Ideas, right? And I worked for Trade Ideas for a number of years, and they have ways to detect who that is by sending like phantom symbols through and things like that, and they find them and they sue them, you know. No, I'm looking at it there. Stock Rocks is definitely Trade Ideas. Yeah. Which again, if you buy a package, you you can buy, you have access to trade ideas. So you could just grab the software. But I just really don't, and again, this might have been part of our conflict with me working there. I don't encourage people to buy tools until they have the system, right? I don't. I don't think that's right. I think you first develop the system, and then you look to buy tools after that. I think that's the way it goes. Let's take a look at some of these trades. Let's go through. We got 1 minute left, so let's take a look at everything the bot did so far. So CSIQ still negative on, but getting back to that. ATXI a little bit positive. That one's doing okay. This HRTG, nothing. Just doing nothing. GMed is doing well. We're pushing up here on GMed. UNH, which is my discretionary trade, which I've actually taken smaller than the other trades. That's how I do it when I take my one trade a day. That's about flat on that one. And then Frog, we are down on Frog. And overall, that leaves me up or flat on the day. So I'm roughly flat here on this particular account. And then if I look at my real account, it'll be roughly the same. So flat on that. Obviously, swing trades today did fantastic because everything's gapping up. My mind med, of course, was good, but now is reversing all day. This was great up here, and then it came all the way back in. I'm irresponsibly not long this name, so I hope for higher prices, but pulling back just a little bit. So appreciate you all for coming in. As always, it's been a good time, and I will be back at 9 Eastern tomorrow, where I'll start up the stream, and then Cheater Nick will come in right after that. And I will see you guys then.